All right, today I am going to share with you a brief lesson about inequalities that you can watch over spring break while you're doing some of your work at home that I have assigned. First, let's review the different signs that we've learned in class. Here's the first one, the second one, third, and fourth, if it'll fit. There we go. You get the idea. This top sign we have means greater than, right? When you were in elementary school, your teacher probably taught you that the alligator wanted to eat the amount that was the biggest. So the alligator would want to eat 5 watermelon instead of 1 watermelon. So this is the greater than sign, and the 5 would go here, and the 1 would go over here. This next inequality sign means less than. The reason it's less than, obviously, is that on this side will be a smaller number, and on this side will be a larger number. We always read inequalities from left to right. So as you're doing your homework, you should always read whichever number is on the left side first, followed by the second number. This is some new learning that we found this year, and this means greater than or equal to. So I'm going to give you some examples of some statements that can go with that in just 1 second. And then finally, we have less than or equal to. So let's give you guys some examples. So like I said, the alligator would want to eat 5 watermelon more than he would want to eat 1, right? So 5 is greater than 1. The next one is less than. We could say 2 is less than 11. Easy enough? The following one, we have 2 different options. We could have is greater than or equal to. So if we have 5, we could do greater than or equal to 1, right? We could also do 5 is greater than or equal to 5, right? We need to think, is that a true statement? Is 5 greater than or equal to 1? Or 5, it's not greater than 5, but it is equal to 5. And then finally, let's draw a line here so you can see the difference. Less than or equal to, I could do 2 is less than or equal to 7, let's say. Or, oops, I forgot my line. 2 is less than or equal to 2. Okay, a lot of this should be review learning, but I know for break we tend to forget some of the things that we've learned throughout the year. Let me redo that. Gotta get my pointer. Next, I want you to review some of the graphing of these inequalities. Okay, let me get the rest, sorry. Delete that. All right, so if I have the inequality of x is greater than or equal to 7, okay? We talked about in class that you would have a line. Of course, my line is not that great right now. Let me try and see if I can do something different. Doesn't look like it, so you'll just have to bear with me. Okay, so here's our line, our graph. And if I have, the first thing I want to do is I want to graph this letter, or this number. So I'm going to graph a 7 here. can be anywhere. Of course, on your worksheets it will already be there. And I'm going to say that x can be any number that is either 7 or above 7. So I would plot my point, would draw my circle, and remember we talked about under the line. That kind of means that it's closed. So I would fill all this in, right? I make a dark circle, and then my arrow, let's make it a different color, is going to be going this way. Okay, because that shows me that my x, whatever my value for x is, can be 8, 9, 10, 11, a million. It doesn't matter as long as it's greater than or equal to 7. Remember that it could be 7 also. That's why we color that in. And the last thing I want to remind you of before you get on break is that, hold on, you might see some math problems that have, well, it's kind of an equation, but let's say I have x plus 2 is less than 7, and we're going to say x equals 4. Okay, remember you're going to fill in the value of x for 4, or 4 for x, and then I'm going to, carry my work down. Remember, good mathematicians are going to line up their work so it's easy to follow. And then I'm going to solve. 4 plus 2 equals 6. And if you read this statement, we have an answer. And you're going to determine 6, remember we read from left to right, 6 is less than 7. Is that true or false? Well, obviously we all know that's true. So on some of your homework assignments, you're just going to put a T. I hope this helps you do some of your work, and I'll see you guys when you get back from break.